hope you are having a fabulous Friday. It's been a while since we checked in with each other because we had our Thanksgiving holiday, which is my very favorite holiday in the entire year because it is number one, all about food, which I love. And number two, it is all about gratitude and Thanksgiving. And no matter what your religion, no matter where you are in the world. I mean, I realize it's an American holiday, but no matter where you're from, Thanksgiving is just a time to appreciate what we have. And one of the things that I am grateful for is the opportunity to work with you. So we are back on schedule doing our Friday live streams. If you are watching this as a recording, then you need to know that you can participate live if you are part of our QBO Gym Locker Room, which is our private Facebook group, but you are welcome to join if you are a practicing bookkeeper and want hands-on experience with QuickBooks Online. Every week I post a survey about what exercises you would like me to cover in the live stream. I post exercises all the time so that you can get actual hands-on practice with QBO, QuickBooks Online, without actually having to have a job. So I am grateful that you're here. And I see a couple people chiming in to say hi, hello. I'm so glad you're here. So this week, I posted a survey about, as I do every week, about what exercises we are going to cover, what you wanted to cover. And the overwhelming choice was reconciling a bank statement. Sometimes I say reconciling a bank statement, and sometimes I say reconciling a bank account. I guess it's technically we're reconciling the bank account using the statement. So I don't know. I need to clear up that terminology. All right. So if you don't have a copy of it, Joel has just posted it in the chat. And if you're in the locker room, of course, I sent an email this morning with the links for everything that we're going to be covering today. And if you are watching the recording, the links will be down below. So let's go ahead and get started. Of course, the first thing we need to do is log into our sample company. So that's what I have done. And we're going to take a look at our exercise reconciling a bank account. Okay. So obviously, first we have to start in the sample company. Let's take a look at our scenario. So as a bookkeeper, your primary responsibility is to ensure that all financial transactions are correctly categorized and match the flow of money into and out of the bank. You have just received the monthly statement from Craig's bank. Now it's time to confirm that all of the transactions have been correctly added to and categorized in QuickBooks Online. So let's see how to do that. So step one, we are going to click Accountant Tools and select Reconcile. Now, let me go back to the sample company. So there are a couple of versions of the sample company. If you are looking at the accountant version, you're going to have this option, which is Accountant Tools. If you don't see Accountant Tools right here, then there are a couple of other ways you can get to it. You can go to the Register from the Chart of Accounts. You can go from the banking screen. This is what your clients, if they were going to do it, would have to do. But because you're an accountant, you have this quick little thing. You're going to select Accountant Tools and select Reconcile. All right, let's go back to our exercise because I have a tendency to get ahead of myself. All right, so we just went through step one. We talked about other ways that Craig could go to access the reconciling if he weren't an accountant. Step two, we're going to have to clear out these messages that we get only because it's our first time in the sample company. Now, in real life, you're just going to go straight to reconciling the account. But because it's a sample company, there's a couple of these things that we have to do. I'll just show you. Step one is this one, get started. And the second one, it's like, ooh, let's get reconciling. Okay, that's just because it's a sample company. So let's go ahead and do that. So I'm clicking get started. Then let's get reconciled. Okay. And then this is typically what you're going to see when you start reconciling that bank account. Okay. So now here we are on step 4. Now, for the remainder of this exercise, you're going to need to refer to the sample bank statement, which is linked right there. Hello again to everybody that said hello in the chat. Thank you. Don't forget to allow StreamYard to view your name, because if I can't see your name if you don't give StreamYard permission. So make sure you do that. Joel will post the link in the chat if you don't have it. All right, so let's see. So the sample bank account, you're going to click bank statement. You're going to click that, and I have it right here. This is the one that I have prepared for you to be able to do this exercise. So we're going to refer to it quite a bit. So actually, let me make it a little bigger so you can see it better. Oh, that's nice. How about that? Does that size work for everybody? All right. So I'm going to go back to our exercise here. Okay, so for the remainder of this exercise, you're going to need that sample bank statement. We're going to start by entering the ending balance found in the sample bank statement. So let's take a look at that. Now, every bank is going to have a slightly different bank statement. And some of the formats I like better than others. You can decide. The more you do this, you'll develop your preferences as well. So, but anyway, so this is just a sample and kind of like the way I like to see it. But anyway, so the beginning balance, let's just take a look at this right here. The beginning balance, that is the ending balance from last month. So you're never going to put in the beginning balance because the beginning balance will already be calculated. Okay, so you're not going to put in the beginning balance. What you're going to put in is the ending balance, which is right here. So that is 3890.89. I wonder if I can just copy it. Let's see if I can copy and paste it so I don't have to remember it. All right, so now we're going to go back to here. Notice right here, you do need to select which account do you want to reconcile, and we're doing checking. And hey, Lori, glad you made it. All right, so we're going to select checking, the beginning balance. Notice I said you can't edit that. That's from last time. So we're going to put in the ending balance. Let's see if my paste worked here. Yay, it worked. All right. And then for the ending date, just because this is, the sample company, and I don't know when you're going to be actually doing this, for future use, we're always going to put in the last date of the previous month. So, so right now I'm filming this in December. So the last month is November. So I'm going to put in November 30th. But whenever you're watching this video and you're doing this exercise, you're always just going to put in the last date of the previous month for the ending date. Okay, so right here, I'm going to put in 11/30/2022. And then I'm going to click start recording. Not recording, start reconciling. Okay. All right, let's go back to the exercise. All right, so this is what we've done. We put in the ending date, we set start reconciling, and now we're going to just take a look at what's on the screen. Okay, so let's go back to the screen here and see. Of course, you've got all these pop-ups because it's a sample company. I used to say, oh, you won't get these pop-ups when you're doing it in real life, but guess what? Sometimes you still do, and it's very annoying. Okay. Okay, pop-ups, pop-ups, pop-ups. Okay, so let's see what it is that I wanted to point out here. So number 1 is the beginning balance. Number 2 is the statement ending balance. Okay, so here's the beginning balance. Okay, remember we didn't edit that. That's the ending balance from last time. And then here's the number that we just put in. Okay, just put in ending balance. Okay, then number 3, we can always change that if we want to. So if I accidentally put in the wrong statement ending balance, I can just click edit info here and I can change that. I can change the ending date if I ever messed up. Okay. All right, let's see what else we have to say. Okay. Next to each transaction is a circle. This will have a blue check mark if the transaction has already been marked cleared. So let me show you that. Okay, so right here, these are the circles. If you have gone through and processed bank feeds, which that's another exercise to talk about how to do that. When you're processing bank feeds, what you're doing is in real time, you're saying, okay, this is what the bank has. This is what I have in QBO. And if and you're wanting to make sure that they match, and you're going to do that on a regular basis, daily, even, weekly, depending on how many transactions there are in this particular account, but you want to do it on a regular basis. And if you do that on a regular basis, then when you go to reconcile, it'll say, okay, these are all the ones you've already checked. Is there any that you have missed that you want to take a look at? And those will already be checked here. Okay. So if you go in, you see some that are already checked, that's why. If you did the previous exercise for our fast and easy exercise of processing bank feeds, if you did that exercise and then immediately did this exercise, then you would see those check marks. And if I always like to start, even though supposedly it's nice, I always like to start from scratch. That way I make sure I get everything, but that's just me. All right, what else did I want to point out here? Okay, so that's the blue check mark. Okay, now when a transaction is checked, it's added to the total payments or deposits. So let's see that. Okay, so right now I don't have anything checked. So if I check $300, this one right there, notice what happened, $300 right there, and then that subtracted up here. So this is, you can kind of see, this is a formula right here. So this is your beginning balance. This is all the money that came out. This is all the money that went in. And you see how it's kind of pointing right there? So that's this whole formula, okay, should equal this number right here when we're all done. When we've checked all of the payments off, all of the deposits off, it's going to do that formula, and this number should equal this number. This number right here, this is the difference. It's the difference between this number and this number. Okay, so right now there is a negative $809.11 difference between these. Okay, if I uncheck it, okay, there is there is a $1,109.11 difference between this number and this number. Okay, can you kind of see how if I added 1109.11 to this number right here, it would equal 5,000? Okay, so the whole goal of reconciling is for this number to be 0. Okay, and that number is going to be 0 as soon as this number equals this number. And then this number is going to equal this number when this whole formula here matches up. Okay, if you didn't follow that, that's fine. You'll see it all happen magically before your eyes as we go through this exercise. Okay, let's see. What else did I cover? Okay, we talked about the cleared balance minus payments deposits, the difference, having it be 0. Okay, let's see what else. Note that the transactions currently showing are only those dated on or before the statement ending date. You can turn this off by clicking the X, and you may need to do so if you have transactions that were added with an incorrect date. This is referred to as a hidden or rogue transaction. So if you guys have already taken the payroll or the I have payroll on the brain, guys. If you've already taken the Pro Advisor test, you may have gotten a question using this phraseology, hidden or rogue transaction. I can't remember. I don't think that's on the test this year, but you may have seen that phrase before, and that's what that means. It means that it's outside the date range. So let's take a look at that. Okay, so right here is the filter. It's filtering only those transactions that are on or before the statement ending date. And I could hit this little X and show all of the transactions if I needed to. And I would only need to do that if I can't find a transaction and I want to check to make sure if the date was entered wrong. Okay. All right. What else are we checking here? So that was number 8. We looked at the statement ending date. I talked about all this, all those pretty pictures. Okay. Let's see. In the remaining steps of this exercise, we're going to complete the reconciliation by checking each transaction till the difference is 0. We already talked about that. If you already have any blue check marks, uncheck them individually or uncheck them all at once by clicking the clear circle at the top. You will need to turn them on and then turn them off. Just follow the prompts. Okay, so that's if you had done this exercise. If you had done the previous exercise and then we're immediately going in here, I would want you to start with a clean slate. And so that's why that is in there. Okay, all right, let's get into the meat of the exercise. Step 7. Okay, remember we're using that sample bank statement. We pulled it up here. Here is a sample. Okay, now we're going to find and check all of the matching deposits. Okay, you can click the deposits tab to see only those transactions. Okay, so here we're going to click the deposits tab and that will filter. So I only have deposits showing here. And now I'm going to go back and forth between my statements. Guys, when I do this in real life, I have a confession to make. Sometimes I print it out. I'm a paper girl. I like to have the paper in front of me. So I like to check it. I like to have the paper and then do it off of that. But you can also do it. Sometimes I do it. It just depends on it depends on the bank account, what I'm doing and stuff. But sometimes you can have it on like 2 different screens. You can see them both at one time. But I wouldn't normally just go back and forth in a tab like this because it's kind of hard on the eyes. All right, so here we are. So here are the deposits that cleared this month. We've got 175, 8640, 225. Let's just do those 3. All right, 175. There it is. I'm checking it off. 8640, 225. Okay, notice when I'm checking this, okay, this deposits number is adding up, okay, and this, it's affecting the difference. It's affecting this whole math here thing right here. Okay, all right, so I'm going to go back to my sample statement. So now we have 3 more, 105, 694, and 337.50. Okay, oops, that's not that one, this one. Okay, 105, 694, 337.50. Is that, let me just check again. 105, 694, 337.50. 105, 694, okay. All right, so those are all of the deposits that cleared the bank this month. So you'll notice that I'm not checking all of the things that are there because these aren't on the bank statement. That means that they're recorded in QBO, but they haven't gone through the bank yet, or they didn't go through the bank in the period that we're looking at on this bank statement. And that's fine. There will always be transactions that you're not checking off because of the clearing time with the bank. So that's fine. All right, so going back to our exercise, we've now done step 7. We checked them all off. We're now going to go to step 8. All right, next we will find all of the checks. We will find and check all of the checks. Click the Payments tab and then click Type to group all of the checks together. Okay, now we're going to, again, use the sample bank statement. find and check all of the cleared checks. Okay, we'll talk about this other one in just a second. All right, so let's go back to our thing here. Okay, so now we're going to go to payment. We're done with the deposits, so now we're going to do the payments. Now, by the way, when you're doing this in real life, you don't necessarily need to go through all of these steps that I'm going through, like doing just deposits and doing just payments. It can be a much shorter, simpler thing. In fact, I'm probably going to create some exercises where we're reconciling the credit card and reconciling the savings, because they have far less transactions. And so you don't need to filter as much to find things. You can just easily find them in the list. But because this is the checking account and there's a lot of back and forth, then it's helpful to know these tools to organize things. All right, so I have gone to payments here. Now I'm going to click type. And what that's going to do is that's going to put all my checks together. Okay, so now I'm going to mark off all of my checks. So let's see in my bank statement. So here we are. Here are the checks. I have, let me scroll this up a little bit. Okay. Check number 2, 4, and 5, 1808, 5455, 6201. So let's look for those. Okay. Also notice that there is a reference number here, so that can help us. So there's check number 2 for 1808. Let me look at this again. Okay, check number 4 for 5455. Check number 4 for 5455. Okay. And let's see. All right. Okay, next one is check number 5 for 6201. Check number 5 for 6201. Oh, I keep clicking the wrong thing. Okay, check number 12 for $55. Here's check number 12 for $55. Check number 69 for $100. Okay, you'll notice that I don't have a check number 69. I do, however, have a check for $100. So I could look, I would want to make sure that this was the right check. Usually these days, the banks will give you a copy of the check with the statement, or it's easy to look up on the bank website to actually see the check. And then I could double check to make sure it really was to Tony. And then I can actually edit this right here just by clicking it and saying, oh yeah, that was check number 69. Okay, and I'm going to click save. And what I just did is back on the exercise right here. It says, note that one check is missing a check number. Oh, never mind. We'll do this in the next step. So let me go to step 10. One of the checks is missing a check number. Imagine that. We can be relatively certain that this is check number 69 because it is for the same amount. If we had access to the bank records, we could view the check image and confirm this. But for the purposes of this exercise, we will assume that it is. Let's edit that transaction and add the check number. All right, so I see this is what happens, guys, on these live streams. I'm so excited about these exercises. I just whiz through them, but I want to make sure that you're actually following along the exercise so that you can do it yourself without me. Like, that's the whole point. Okay, so we had one check left, which is check number 70, 185. Okay, so I'm going to go this one, check 185. All right, again, notice I'm not checking all of them. I'm only checking the ones that are on the bank statement. And also notice that every time I check one, oh, hey, what happened? I forgot to do Tony here. Okay. And every time I check one, it changes the difference here. and this whole math equation, okay? So our whole goal is to get this to be 0. And when you get there, oh my gosh, it's my favorite thing. I have a bit of a confession to make, guys. Reconciling bank statements is like one of my favorite things to do in life. I know I'm such a nerd. I'm such a nerd, but I love it. And we're going to all celebrate when we get the green check mark. Okay, so let's get back to our exercise. So we did all our checks. So now we're going to go to step 11 and 12. All right, next we're going to find and check the remaining debits. Click date to put the transactions back in date order. Using the sample bank statement, find and check the remaining debits payments. Note the following. There are 2 transactions with similar amounts. Check the one that matches the bank statement. Here's a tip. The bank is always right. If you see a discrepancy between what the bank says and what QuickBooks Online says, the bank is always right. So the change that you need to make is in QuickBooks Online. Is there ever an occasion where the bank is wrong? Like 0.00000000001% of time, the bank is actually wrong. So most of the time, like it's so close to all of the time that you might as well say all of the time, you made a mistake in QuickBooks. So that's where you need to fix it. Okay, so let's go back. There are 2 similar. You check the one that matches the bank statement. In a real life scenario, we would need to investigate what happened here. For the purposes of this exercise, we'll ignore it. I'm going to go over all of this in just a minute, I promise. I just want to read it first so that when we go and actually do it, it's not, I don't have to come back and read it. Okay. Next, there is one transaction with a different amount than the bank statement, except in extremely rare cases, which I just mentioned, the bank is always correct. So we'll want to correct the transaction in QBO. We'll do that in the next step. The difference shows what is remaining unchecked. Okay, so we've talked about this before. Notice that the amount equals the transaction in the bank statement that has yet to be checked. Okay, so let's go over all of that. I think that's all of my notes. All right, so let's do it, folks. Let's do it. We're going to go to our sample bank statement. Here we are. We're now going to do the other debits. And the first thing that I said we're going to do is we're going to put it back in date order. So we're just going to click date to put it back in date order. Then I'm going to go back to my sample bank statement. Okay, and here we are. We're going to do, we have a $300, $250, and $38.50. So 300, there it is right there, 300, 250, and 38.50. Okay, so this is the one that I mentioned. Look, they're very similar. One is $38.50. The other is $38.40. And in real life, you would want to investigate like why that is. What happened there? Why are there 2 that are similar? I can tell you probably what happened is that somebody manually entered it with one number, and then somebody came along from the bank feed and said, oh no, it's supposed to be that, and they added instead of editing. But that's a story for another time. So for the purposes of this exercise, we're just going to check the one that matches the bank statement. Why? Because the bank is always right. All right, so here we go. And which one is that? $38.50. So we're going to mark $38.50. Okay, sample bank statement again. So now we've done those first 3. All right, next, $89.09. $250 and $108.09. All right, let's go do that. Okay. Whoops, scroll. Come on, scroll. All right. $89.09, $108.09, and $250. There they are. Going back to the bank statement. All right, so we did those 3. Now we're going to do $24.38. Well, let's do $24.38. See what happens. Okay. Oops. Yeah, that's right. All right. So look, There isn't one for Hicks Hardware. Notice on here it says Hicks Hardware 2438 Hicks Hardware. So if I go to Hicks Hardware 2438, there isn't 2438, it's 2436. So we know who's always right, the bank. So we're going to change the record in QBO. The way we do that, just in the same way we added that check number, we're going to click it and we're going to change it to 2438. Now, if you did the previous exercise, if you did the bank feed transactions exercise before doing this, then you fixed it in that exercise. So you won't have this problem. It's only if you're just doing this reconciling in the fresh version of the sample company. All right, so we're going to click save. All right, so let's see. There it is. So 2438. Back to our sample bank statement. 1999, 566, and 5214. 1999, 566, 5214. Okay, going back. So now we have 900, 215, 66, 386. 900. Oh my gosh, we're getting close. 215.66. And look at this. Look at this. 386 is left as the difference. 386 right here. Oh my gosh, this is crazy. Oh, somebody said it's okay, me too. I think they're talking about loving reconciling. Being a numbers nerd. Okay, look, watch this. I'm going to click it and ta-da! Green check mark. Difference is 0. This is like what we're going for, guys. This is it. All right, going back to reconciling a bank statement. Oh my gosh, I'm such a nerd. Okay, so we did all this, and then we're going to go to step 13, which we already did this because we fixed that amount. All right, and then step 14. Oh my gosh, look, the difference is 0. So now we are going to click finish now. This is so exciting. I love this. Finish now. Dun, dun, dun. Green check mark. You reconciled this account. Woo! Woo! All right. Now, if this were real life, if this were real life, then you would have the opportunity right here to upload the statement. So this is a relatively new thing that QuickBooks Online has, where you can actually attach the bank statement to the reconciliation. And now the bank will actually send the statement right inside QBO. So that's a relatively new thing. And in real life, if this weren't the sample company, you would have the option right here to attach the statement, which I always do. But for us, for our purposes, we're going to say done. Let me just say our last thing says finished. Yay. What do I have down here as a note? Oh, there will always be transactions that remain unreconciled. Okay, I already hammered that in, right? Okay, so we are done. I'm going to click done. Woo, yay, Jackie. Yes. All right. Oh, I love reconciling. Okay, the number two exercise voted on this week. This was fascinating to me that you guys wanted to see this. Is a brand new exercise for the 2023 season. It's a new topic that's being tested on the test this year. And so because it's a new thing that they want the new pro advisors to know, I created an exercise so that you can learn how to do it. And that is adding a customer type and running the associated report. So let's talk about adding a customer type. So if you want to, well, let's just read the scenario. No, let me tell you. So if you want to group your customers by certain things, there are oodles of ways that you could do that. And in this particular exercise, I set it up so that you are creating VIP customers. Now, the reason that I set it up as VIPs is because in the advanced course, you learn about price rules. And price rules are like, you know how if you go to a place and they say, are you military or are you a senior citizen? Then you get a discount. Like all senior citizens get a discount, military like gets a discount, right? So you can set that up in QuickBooks Online, and that is called price rules. In order to use price rules, you have to have customer types because you have to indicate like who's a senior citizen, right? Who is, who's in the military. So, so this is setting you up for an exercise or, a topic that you're going to learn about in the advanced course. But there's other ways you could do this. You could set up a customer type, like if you just wanted to know like where the advertisers came from. This customer came from, came from a Google search. This customer was a referral. So there's lots of ways that you could do it. Basically, you just want to separate customers into, into different groups. So for this exercise that we are doing today, Craig has decided to consider some of his clients VIPs. That way he can offer them special discounts in the future if he wants to. He already knows that Amy's Bird Sanctuary is a VIP, and he's going to decide the others later, but you want to set it up for Amy, and then you'll have it ready for any others that you want to do. Okay. So step 1 is from the left nav bar, we're going to go to sales and then click customers. So we're here, we go to customers. All right, next, oops, let me just close these. We don't need these anymore. All right, step 2, we have to first set up the VIP customer type. So we're going to click customer types. So right here, click customer types. And then you probably guessed what the next step is. I don't want to get ahead of myself, but new customer type. So let's go back to our exercise. Step 3, I'm going to click new customer type. Okay, now I'm going to enter VIP and save. Okay, here is VIP, then click save. Oh, that's it. I don't know why I was sitting around. Okay, so we did that. So now we have created the customer type, and now we just need to assign it to Amy. So we're going to go back to customers. So I click customers right here. I'm going to go back to my customer list. And guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to select Amy. And then guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to click edit. All right, now I got ahead of myself for sure. Okay. So that was step 5, step 6, Amy's Bird Sanctuary, step 7, click edit, which we did. Okay, step 8, now we're going to scroll through to find this additional info section. So customers, here I am. I'm going to scroll. Keep scrolling, scroll. Okay, here we go. Additional info, customer type, select VIP, select save. Okay, so now Amy's Bird Sanctuary is a VIP. And so now that she is set up as a VIP, let's run a report so we can see what that looks like. So now we're going to go to the left nav bar and click reports. All right, and then I'm going to search by customer type. What did I say in the exercise? I said in the exercise, begin typing customer type and then select sales by customer type detail. Now, sometimes this doesn't always work. So that's why I have a note down there. Customer type, sales by customer type detail. All right, it worked. Good. So let me go back to the exercise for just a minute. because if it doesn't work for you, see right here, it says if you have trouble selecting sales by customer type detail. I think one time when I was doing this, I would select it, but then it would never load. And so I had to go back and do it another way. So that's fine. Look, there's no data. That's because that's just this month. We need to go back and select all dates and then click Run Report. All right, and then notice here is the VIP section right here. These are all of the sales by customer type. So that's Amy. Right now it's just Amy, but it could be anybody that was a VIP. Now, the downside of using customer type versus things like classes is that it's limited in what reports. There's only a limited number of reports that use customer type. I don't know why. I don't know why Intuit does this with QBO. It's like you can't always select everything for every report. It's kind of annoying, but anyway. But this is how you do it. So let's go to back here. Steps 11 and 12. That's what we did. We changed to all dates. We ran the report. And dun, dun, dun. Oh yeah, I should also mention, this is important. So here is that VIP, the ones that are Amy, and then here are the ones that are not specified. See, it says not specified. So these are all the ones that are not Amy, okay? All right, so that's the new thing. It's not a new feature, it's just new to the test this year. So now you know how to do that, and you're gonna ace that question on the test, right? Or questions, I don't know. I don't know. I can't talk about what's actually on the test. All right, so that is it. And looking at the clock, I see that we have time to do our last exercise, which is receiving and depositing a payment. This is related to undeposited funds. In the course, it is the lesson that talks about undeposited funds, because here's what happens is that now if you're receiving electronic payments, okay, if somebody's paying you ACH or credit card or whatever, that money goes right into the bank automatically. It just goes into the bank, okay? But if somebody pays you with a check or with cash, then you have that in your hand, and then you have that in your hand, and then you go take it to the bank, and you might have several. So like Amy paid you, and Bill paid you, and Carol paid you, like all these people paid you. You have all these checks, and you're going to go to the bank and you're going to deposit those all together in the bank. So so you want to make sure that when you receive the payment, that you have those individual payments. You put it together in a group called undeposited funds. They're changing the name of that. It used to be called undeposited funds. Now it's called payments to deposit. So either is fine. It's basically just a bucket, an envelope, a drawer, wherever you're holding on to that check and cash that needs to go into the bank. That's what we're talking about. Okay. All right. Let's see our scenario. Okay. Helps if I do it on the right screen. Okay, here's the scenario. Great news. You just received 2 checks in the mail. One is from Jeff's Jalopies and the other is from Cookies by Kathy. Both are paying off their outstanding bills in full. Yay. Now you need to mark their invoices as paid and deposit the money in the bank. Okay, in this exercise, we're going to practice 2 different ways to find the invoice. This is just for demonstration purposes. You can record a payment either way. Okay, all right, so step 1, okay, we're going to use the plus new button to find Jeff's invoice. Okay, so we're going to hit plus new and select receive payment. Okay, so back in our sample company, we're going to hit plus new, and then we are going to receive payment right there. All right, then going back to our exercise, that's not the exercise, this is the exercise, okay? Receive payment. In the customer field, start typing Jeff's Jalopies, then click on the name. When it appears, a list of his outstanding transactions will appear, okay? So right here, we're gonna start typing Jeff's Jalopes. When we select him, okay, here's all of his outstanding invoices. Looks like at this point he only has one. Okay, steps 3. Okay, select check from the payment field. Okay, so right here. Oh, wait, what happened? Right here, payment method. What does that say? Oh, I did have it. I just read it wrong. I have it right. I just read it wrong. Payment method. All right. So what did we receive? We received a check. Okay. If we knew the check number, we could enter the reference number. So then we're going to say that deposit funds is selected in the deposit to field. Okay. So right here, so we selected payment method is check, deposit to undeposited funds. Remember that could be payments to deposit, but it is undeposited funds. That's the same account. Check the invoice that is being paid and then click save and close. Okay. So he paid with a check. The money's going into this holding area. We're going to say, this is the invoice that he paid. It's, yep, $81. We're going to hit save and close. Okay. So that was, oh, where's my cursor? Here we go. All right, save and close. If the green button says save anew, this is for new people that don't know what they're doing. Okay, so step 7. Now we're going to find Kathy's invoice using the Sales Center. So from the left nav bar, we're going to go to Sales and then Invoices. All right, so Sales, Invoices. All right, so we did that. What's my note here? Oh yeah, click only the pop-ups you may see. Don't worry about that. All right, find Kathy's invoice in the list and then click receive payment in the action column. Okay, so here is invoices. Here's cookies by Kathy, receive payment. And then look, it's already filled in. Kathy's, it's already checked, all that. So we're going to say check again here. And we're going to make sure that it's deposit to is undeposited funds. And here we're going to do that down arrow and hit save and close. All right, going back to our exercise, exercise, step 8. That's what we just did. All right, so now we have marked both of those invoices as received. We've received the payment. Now we're going to take that money and we're going to put it in the bank. Okay, so let's deposit those 2 checks into the checking account. Now we're going to hit plus new and select bank deposit. Plus new, we're going to the bank. Kind of go to the bank with the bank deposit. All right, so look here what happens is we have all of these payments that are, this is what's in the envelope. This is what's in that undeposited funds or payments to deposit envelope. The 2 that we just put in there, Jeff's Jalopies and Cookies by Kathy, as well as these other 2 that came in before. All right, let's go back to the exercise. All right. So I guess in the exercise, I'm only putting in the 2 that I just did. Okay. So we're just going to click this one and this one. And then we're going to say, oh, we put that in the bank. And we're going to hit save and close. All right. Very simple. That's it. That's all there is. All right. How do I get myself back up here? There we go. Wait, what happened? Oh my gosh, you guys, technology. Okay. There we are. All right. So that's it. And we covered all of the top 3 that were voted on this week. And if you have any questions, post them in the chat. I forgot to ask earlier, but you'll probably be asking them anyway. And let's see what else. If you want to participate live with us, then join the QBO Gym locker room. The link is below. You get to vote on the exercises. You get to participate live, and I think that's it. Unless there are any other questions, which I don't see. So I must have done an amazing job, right? Or you're too confused to type. Anyway, that's it. I will see you guys next week. I can't wait to hear your success story. Bye-bye.